Imagine walking into a room and knowing without a shred of doubt that you are the heartbeat of someone's existence, their gravity, the one they cannot live without. What if I told you that this isn't a fantasy, but a reality you can summon? Love does not begin outside of you. It is born in the depths of your assumption. When you act as though their world collapses without your love, you shift the universe to agree. Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to share will show you how to make love undeniable, inevitable, unshakable. Close your eyes for a moment and step into the secret place within yourself. There is a great mystery here, a law that never fails, though the world has taught you to overlook it. Every event in your life, every relationship, every glance of love or absence of it has its root not outside of you, but in the silent assumptions you hold about yourself. The power to command devotion, the power to awaken loyalty, the power to stir the deepest affection. It all begins with the image you dare to carry of who you are. Do you understand? Life is not responding to what you wish for, but to what you believe yourself to be. You stand in the belief that you are overlooked, neglected, forgotten, then the world will faithfully play its part, showing you people who cannot see your worth. But if you step into the knowing that you are the very breath of another's existence, if you assume without apology that your love is the oxygen they crave, then reality bends. People shift, hearts stir, and circumstances rearrange to mirror that truth. This is not imagination as a child's game. It is imagination as creation itself. What you dare to assume becomes clothed in flesh. You may say to me, but they have not called. They are distant. They seem unmoved. And I tell you, that appearance is nothing more than the echo of an old belief you once held. It is yesterday's thought materialized today. Do not bow before it. Do not accept it as final. Instead, clothe yourself inwardly with the assurance that you are already cherished, already longed for, already indispensable. When you walk in the feeling of that state, when you inhabit it as naturally as breathing, the world cannot resist. Your outer life has no choice but to conform. Imagine the lover who cannot go an hour without hearing your voice, the friend who feels incomplete without your presence, the partner who looks at you as though you are the only one. This vision, held steadily in your inner world, becomes law in the outer. It is not persuasion, not manipulation, not begging or waiting. It is command through assumption. Think of the air you breathe. You do not plead for it. You do not chase it. It simply comes because your life requires it. In the same way, when you claim within that your love is essential, that your presence is vital, you do not need to chase anyone. You embody the truth that they cannot breathe without you, and they feel it, whether near or far. Their actions must align, for you are the root cause, and they are but the reflection. Let me ask you, how do you see yourself when you lie down at night? Do you imagine yourself forgotten? Or do you rest in the sweet assurance that you are the beloved, the chosen, the one adored beyond measure? Your answer determines your tomorrow. If you can sustain the vision of being desired beyond reason, if you can feel it as though it is already done, you will watch as life rushes forward to prove you right. Do not be fooled by silence or delay. The seed does not sprout the moment it is buried, but in secret it takes root, and in its own appointed time it pushes through the soil. Your assumption is the seed. Nurture it, water it with feeling, and protect it from doubt. And soon enough you will stand in the living proof of what you dare to claim. You are the author of the script, and others are the actors who cannot help but play the roles you assign them. If you assign them the role of indifference, they will deliver it flawlessly. But if you assign them the role of one who cannot breathe without your love, then that too they will embody, for they are moved not by their will, but by the unseen direction of your assumption. So tonight, speak within yourself as though it is already so. Hear their voice calling you. Feel their arms reaching for you. Sense their heart beating in rhythm with yours. And walk tomorrow as though it were already true. The world will conspire to meet you there. And what once seemed impossible will become the most natural expression of your inner state. Or as you carry yourself in the silence of your own mind, so the world will carry you. Everything bends itself to the pattern of your self-concept. If you see yourself as overlooked, then you cannot help but live in a world where others confirm that view. They will pass you by, they will not see your worth, and you will believe it is they who are blind. Yet it is never them. It is always the image you have dared to accept about yourself that becomes the mask they must wear in your presence. Do you not see the glorious secret here? Others are powerless to treat you in any way other than the way you secretly treat yourself. The one who loves you, the one you long for, the one whose devotion you crave, they are drawn not to your outer form, but to the invisible vibration of your self-concept. If you carry the knowing that you are cherished, treasured, desired beyond measure, you emanate it effortlessly, and they respond as though compelled by a force greater than themselves. The great mistake is to try to change them while leaving yourself untouched. You plead for their affection, you wait for their recognition, but until you assume within that you are already the love they seek, nothing changes. The river flows only from the source, and you are that source. To alter your concept of self is to alter the very foundation upon which your world rests. Now, imagine for a moment that you stand before a mirror. The reflection is cold, distant, unloving. Would you strike at the glass to force it to smile? Of course not. You would know that only by softening your own expression will the mirror reveal warmth. And so it is in life. Others are nothing more than mirrors. If you carry the concept of being unwanted, they cannot help but reflect it. But when you stand tall in the dignity of one who knows they are essential, when you dwell in the quiet majesty of being irreplaceable, then every mirror must shift, and the reflection becomes devotion. So when you walk into a room, do not ask, will they notice me? Will they value me? Instead, walk in knowing I am the one their heart has been searching for. Carry that awareness like a fragrance, invisible yet undeniable. Let it fill the air, let it surround you, and soon you will see eyes soften, voices change, gestures lean closer. For the world cannot help but agree with the verdict you pass upon yourself. This is the true work, to cleanse the inner image, to lift the self-concept until it matches the love you desire. When you assume you are the treasure, the prize, the very breath of another's life, then no effort is required. The role is set, the stage arranged, and they must play the part assigned to them. For the play has already been written within you, and the only question is this: are you willing to live from the end of the story, or will you remain trapped in the middle, begging for a resolution that can only come when you claim it first within yourself? To live from the end is to step beyond appearances, beyond the silence of the phone, beyond the empty chair, and to feel here and now the reality of being adored. It is to occupy the state of already having, rather than the restless yearning of waiting. Do not wait for them to prove it. Do not wait for the world to grant permission. When you walk in the feeling of being desired, when you sleep with the assurance of already being the beloved, you carry the end within you. And the end contains the power to reshape the beginning. Every circumstance, every event, every meeting will be drawn together in harmony with that unseen conclusion you have dared to inhabit. Think of a book you have already read, a story whose ending you know well. As you turn each page again, no matter what conflict or distance appears along the way, you do not worry, for you already know how it concludes. So it must be with your life. Hold the end firmly in imagination, the end where you are treasured, where you are the center of their heart, where love is secure and overflowing. And as you pass through the days, treat every appearance of delay as nothing more than the passing chapter of a story already decided. When doubt whispers, remind yourself the end is written. When the world seems to oppose you, stand still in the knowledge the end is written. This is not pretending, it is creating. For the act of assuming the end is not play, it is law. Life must conform. The world cannot resist the magnetic pull of one who lives as though the desire were already fulfilled. And what is the feeling of the end? It is not desperation, not longing, not hope that someday it might arrive. The end feels complete. It feels done. It is the sweet relief of resting in the arms of love, the calm certainty that you are already the one they cannot live without. Carry that feeling in the silence of your heart. Let it saturate your thoughts, your walk, your very breath. Others may say, but nothing has changed. And you will smile, for within you everything has changed. You no longer live in the uncertainty of waiting. You live in the certainty of being. And soon the outer will echo the inner, for the unseen end always insists upon its expression in the seen world. It is the unseen current you carry within that sets every scene of your life, just as a melody fills a room without being touched. Your emotional frequency fills your world and calls to others with irresistible force. You may try to speak the right words, wear the right smile, or perform the right gestures, but if beneath it all you hold the vibration of being unwanted, then that silent song is heard more loudly than anything you could ever say. What you feel yourself to be is the note the universe plays back to you. If you feel yourself forgotten, then the world will echo with forgetfulness. But when you move in the rhythm of being desired, when you let the inner certainty of being cherished hum quietly within you, then all around you begins to respond. The call is unspoken, yet it is unmistakable. They cannot explain why they are drawn, why they think of you at odd hours, why the thought of you lingers like breath itself. It is the music of your assumption vibrating in their world. Consider the lover who longs for someone day and night, yet pushes them further away because the frequency of lack surrounds every thought. The outer gestures may say, come closer, but the inner state declares, you are absent. Which do you think the world obeys? Always the inner, always the silent song. For life is deaf to words and blind to actions until they are clothed in the garment of feeling. So let your task be simple. Carry the emotional frequency of being irreplaceable. Walk as though you are the rarest treasure, as though every eye that meets you sees something they cannot find anywhere else. Rest at night as though your presence is the peace another soul depends upon. Let the atmosphere of being necessary radiate from you without strain, without effort, without pleading. In that ease you will watch reality bend. And do not believe this is arrogance. It is not boasting, it is not pride. It is truth. For if you were created as the image of love itself, how could you be anything less than indispensable? To deny your worth is the real falsehood. To embrace it is the only honesty. The world is always listening, not to your words, but to your vibration. When you hold the frequency of one who is adored, then devotion flows to you as naturally as the tide returns to shore. You do not chase, you attract. You do not beg, you receive. And those who encounter you will feel the invisible command of your state, responding to it without knowing why, only certain that your presence is the breath they need. And yet, the moment you allow doubt to creep in, the song falters. Doubt is the thief that whispers, perhaps it is not working, perhaps they do not care, perhaps I am forgotten. If you yield to that voice, you surrender the crown, and the world hastens to mirror your uncertainty. But if you stand unmoved, if you refuse the lie of appearances, then doubt dissolves, and the truth of your assumption reigns. Detachment from doubt is not indifference to desire. It is the refusal to beg for proof. It is the quiet certainty that the invisible is stronger than the visible, that the root carries more power than the branches. You need not check, you need not chase, you need not ask, when will it happen? For when you live in the end, you know it is already so. The farmer does not dig up his seed each morning to see if it has sprouted. He trusts the unseen work beneath the soil, and so must you. The heart that doubts is restless, frantic, grasping for signs. The heart that knows is calm, still, radiant with assurance. Which do you think magnetizes love? Not the frantic, but the serene. When you detach from the craving for evidence, when you rest in the knowing that the unseen is already unfolding, you exude a power that no one can resist. People sense it, they feel it. They are drawn not to your words, but to the energy of your certainty. Have you not noticed how irresistible those become who need nothing? It is not because they lack desire, but because they stand so firmly in their inner conviction that they radiate completeness. When you detach from doubt, you stop reaching outward and instead emanate inward authority. And in that moment, you cease to pursue love and begin to command it. For love is compelled to answer the one who lives in the unwavering truth of already being chosen. So I ask you, why look for validation in another's behavior when the only validation you need is the feeling you hold within? Why tremble before silence when silence itself must bend to your assumption? Release the need to see, to touch, to hear immediate confirmation. Instead, rest in the invisible assurance that all is done. The outer will rearrange itself in time, but your inner state is complete now. And this is the secret few understand. Detachment does not weaken desire, it strengthens it. For when you no longer waver, when you no longer beg, when you no longer measure the ground each step of the way, your desire gathers force, unopposed by doubt, and bursts into expression with certainty. Stand firm, refuse the temptation to plead for signs, and the world will rise to declare what you have already known in silence. For the inner state is the true throne, and from it you rule without lifting a finger. The world is not governed by effort, persuasion, or desperate striving. It is governed by the silent authority of your assumption. When you command within, the outer must obey. Not because you forced it, but because reality itself has no power to resist the decree of consciousness. You may think others act of their own accord, yet every word they speak, every step they take toward you or away from you is drawn from the script you have already written in silence. If you hold them as distant, they will remain so. If you hold them as bound to you by love, they cannot escape it. Your assumption is the law under which they move, whether they know it or not. This is why you must walk as one who already possesses what you seek. Speak inwardly as though they are already yours. Hear their devotion in your imagination until it rings truer than the outer silence. Carry yourself with the calm assurance of one who knows the crown rests upon their head. Do not ask the world to confirm it. Declare it within and let the world bow to that declaration. Think of the actor on stage. He plays his role not because he wills it in that moment, but because the script demands it. So it is with those in your life. They cannot but act in harmony with the lines you have assigned them through your self-concept and your assumption. If you command with fear, their role will echo fear. But if you command with the authority of love fulfilled, they will act the part of one who adores you. Never confuse command with force. You do not shout at the world. You do not grasp at others' actions. You whisper inwardly in the secret chambers of imagination, and that whisper becomes a thunder they hear. It is a law as certain as the rising of the sun. What you accept within, they must reflect without. So stand tall in your inner kingdom. Let your thoughts move as decrees, not questions. Let your feelings flow as proclamations, not pleadings. Assume the authority of one who knows they are the breath another needs, and watch as even the most stubborn hearts soften, even the most distant hands reach, even the most unlikely paths open. You are not waiting for permission. You are not subject to chance. The authority is already yours. The moment you claim it inwardly, the world bends, and those you long for, those you believe beyond reach, will find themselves moving as though compelled, not by your words, not by your actions, but by the unseen command of your inner certainty.